Well, I just did one here. Um, how will I connect it here in case somebody wants to check the and connects it to? Hmm, uh, I just did a tape where I fell. I'll put I don't know what I'll put. I guess you can just try to check it out by the date if anybody cares. Um, but anyway, the I wanted to say this though. Back about 2 years ago, maybe three, a person with Appalachian Trail gave me a lift up to. You know, I've been isolated. Believe it or not, I really am. I might be making a video right now since a few months back, but I've been isolated, and if I had got somewhere I walked, and now I can't walk anymore. I was lucky to have a place to live, I suppose. This is what I was told. Even though I was being soaked in chemicals and it tearing my body, it poisoning the air. Come on, everybody can. I don't have to explain it. Okay, if it's doing it to you or your children, there would be an outrage. So why is it okay to do it to me? Um, Now then, I wanted to go back to this time on the trail up there. It was Roanoke Mountain Campground, and it's a pretty campground. It's okay, hardly anybody goes there, and they've threatened to close it down, and it's a big one. But I've gone up there, and every time there would either be formaldehyde that was given to a couple of the campers, and they would always get next to me and burn it, which is illegal. This is formaldehyde. They probably didn't, it didn't bother them for a night or two if they were there, ever how long, but it killed me. And I have had them at North Creek, which is a federal, kind of primitive. I try to go out there to get fresh air, and I'm not even going to go into what people did there. So this country does not want told what they've done to me and my children, my father and mother, and to Great Britain and to the Germans. So when I was on Roanoke Mountain, though, I went up there trying to get away from all this and get some fresh air, even though I had gone there before. And it happened. So anywhere I go, it's the mechanism used in it, so you can guess that with what I'm talking about. Um, I had been there a couple of days, and I'd been sprayed. I didn't dare get up and go to the toilet, which I had to do, which was a ways from the campsite, because they'd come in and soak my tent. Well, this time I had carried a tent with me. I'd bought a new one. And the one I had was a Sierra, which I loved, and it was a good tent. But the deal was I crawled in it from coming back to the bathroom, from the restroom, and I was just in it for a couple of minutes, and when I came out, I mean, I blacked out. I tossed over the steps down, rolled into a tree, which could have killed me at my age, and my bones are fragile. And I had bruises all over me, so I did take pictures of that, and I put it on, not YouTube, but on, I don't know if it's out anywhere. It's in my other camera, I guess. But nobody cares. Appalachian Trail did that. You wouldn't believe what went on up there. I have to hope somewhere there have been cameras that have captured some of this, because when you see these people behind closed doors where they think nobody's watching, they're the true them. And they're afraid of repercussions. They'll help people, like they have picnics and parties and for everybody in Roanoke. If you just saw what goes on here, and you didn't know how they've treated me over the years and what they've done, you think, gee, this is nice people. They're friendly, so long as it doesn't cost them. Okay? Now then, I've said all that, and it's the chemicals and everything that have been sprayed on me that's deteriorating my body, and people come back and say, oh, well, you're old. Even though they know what's happened, I'm dismissed. Well, I might be old, but I wouldn't be this fragile, and my lungs and kidneys and all my organs destroyed from having to suck in chemicals. Okay, I could be 75 and still getting around pretty good. The phony monarch here does. Of course, she's using my money, and lived a life of luxury while she sold out her country. And I'm going to show you her father again. Sold it out. Now then, I think that was what I wanted to get across here. I did want to say this because these are the mind control murders. I want to say this about Edward Snowden. NSA, whistleblower, a hero, or a villain, or some of both. It is appalling to me because the press did this to me when they even bothered to write about me. And look what they did to my father. It was total lies and cover-ups. And the enormous, I mean, it's so enormous, the books that have been written, even changing his photograph. And why would anybody put a 99-year seal on it? So anyway, the murders, mind control murders, were done in patterns. I'm going to say that again. I wrote about them in 77, 78. While I lived in Marietta, Georgia, Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, when they hauled him into court, and his attorney was killed. And NBC, a long time ago, told me that Larry Flint couldn't have lived, that they had reels of him, and he was blown all over the sidewalk outside the court in Lawrenceville. So I was out there during the campaign in '83 that I ran in, and I thought it was Larry Flint. So I don't know, and I don't want to hurt the man, whether it's Larry Flint or not, because at least he tried to help me more than any of these other that tried to kill me. How about that? Okay, I will show my sons here, and then I'm going to get back to the other. This is my father. And this is Mark when he was just a baby. And this is Mark again. This is Scott. This is Scott with a horse. And here they both are with Mark's horse here. Something cute. This was Ginger here. Now then, she took her money and she took my money, excuse me. All kinds of horses with all kinds of background. They used my money to do it. Anyway, this is Scott again. Now then, that's my sons, and Mark is there, and then Scott after me. So what I wanted to go back to the mind control murders I wrote about in '77 and '78. Wayne Williams, the book The List was written about, that the black killings in Atlanta, and they were not racially motivated. Black had to do in the patterns like death. Like green would be Irish, so forth and so on. Now then, here is the Century shooting with James Holmes, who's being tortured with psychotic drugs. He was under mind control, and that has nothing to do with mental illness. It has to do with him taking the right away to even make his own decisions or do anything on his own. This is a Fort Hood shooter who finished college at Blacksburg next door to me here. I'm in Roanoke. And there was a list of them there that died. Now then, this is Gabby Gifford, and her husband was, so you can get the gist of it here. She ran in, well, she was a U.S. Congress lady. I just ran. This is her husband, Mark, and they're twins, and Scott is also an astronaut, the twin. That's my son's names. And you should know the people that were shot, how they fit together in here, and you should be afraid. Somebody should have done something a long time ago, because when you can bring people together like they did in that and shoot them, it's like doing a movie, only this is real life that's done, and nobody cared when I was telling it. And by the way, there's, I want to say this on here because I had some things happen and my Facebook got hacked. Now then, some people here that their children or family were involved in mind control murders that were done in the patterns. And I've told this ever since I've come to